Hello everybody, and welcome to Ireland's National Reuse Month with me, Jo, the creative facilitator at Recreate Ireland. Recreate and I are very excited to be a part of Reuse Month, as our vision is to foster creativity and curiosity whilst also caring for the environment through reuse and repurposing. We divert around 200 tonnes from landfill every year, which is the equivalent of filling the pitch up at Crow Park. This workshop video is to encourage everyone to explore and think about items that you may have at the home in your home already. To get creative with those items and maybe give that item a new purpose in life. Before we start making though, we're going to have a little look through my recycling and see what it might inspire us on our repurposing and creative journey. So now we're going to have a little investigation into what I have inside my recycling bin. I have a plastic drinks bottle, a milk carton which decided to jump out, obviously wants to be the star of the show, a plant pot, lots of different stuff here, a lid from yoghurt, a humble egg box, and some different, actually a lid from a jar, and some gold and silver cards. Now, move the bin aside, thank you. Now, what could we do with these different items? This could potentially be a spyglass, almost like a kaleidoscope actually with that bottom on it. It could be a shaker if you were to put some things inside. It could be a rocket. It could also be maybe a bird feeder. What could this be? This could be a boat, potentially. You could cut the top off, have it sailing on a pond or in a bath, maybe. Actually, thinking about baths, what you could do is you could pop holes in the bottom, fill it up, and then you would have a rainmaker, almost like a cloud. What else could we do? Plant pot. This could also be something that you might use for a hat. You could use it as a making your voice sound louder. Oh, sorry, that was probably very loud in the microphone. Okay, and then we have some lids and stuff. Oh, and the egg box, the humble egg box. Now, I think, I've got two here. Maybe what I could do is a whole load of different things with the egg box. The egg box could be something that could be worn. It could be a decoration. It could be a character or an insect. And I think I might work on that and see what we might come up with. So now, after looking and investigating into our recycling bin, I think that I am going to make something out of these egg boxes. Partly because they're quite intriguing. They've got good structure, good shape to them. They're made out of paper, and I quite like working with paper. And also, for my own benefit, I haven't actually made anything from egg boxes before, so I am kind of intrigued to see where this might take us, or take me. So I have two egg boxes here. I kind of feel like these are almost like beaks or noses, and these look like eyes. So I was thinking about potentially cutting it up and seeing what happens. Right, let me get some scissors and let's see what happens. I'm just going to slice. I tell you what I'm doing is I want these bits here, but as I'm cutting these, I'm thinking actually they might make quite good flowers. I'm going to start, oops, maybe I didn't mean to do that one quite like that. Or what happens when we deconstruct and then construct it back together. So that could almost be the start of maybe a mask or something. Okay, let's see about this one. I'm going to do the same here. Oh, it's almost like a star now with legs. So I find that quite a lot of time when I'm making things, I might have a starting point, so my egg box might be the starting point. And then just by cutting and playing and placing things down, things become to take shape and start to become something else. So they kind of transform almost. So I kind of like the idea of the flower. So I'm going to chop these up into kind of more slightly petally shapes. And sorry, oh, there we go. Okay, so that's kind of might be quite cool to make like a headpiece out of. Let's go with that and see if I cut a few more out. So I'm thinking this is going to be something to wear. Could be put onto. I have this plastic wire here, which I think might come in handy. So I'm going to make a little hole in through the middle of this. Oh, need something a little bit sharper. Maybe these little scissors. Now, be really careful if you're making a little hole with scissors like this, because I, not so long ago, did cut myself. It was a bit of a scary scene afterwards. So just really quickly, you also might see other ideas of things that you could do with these. And I reckon maybe painting them black or orange might work really well for making a headpiece. So we can see it's starting to, it's quite spacey almost, isn't it? It's starting to make almost, let me see if I can see that in the reflection. Oh yeah, it stands up quite well. So I've just used a piece of plastic there, but you may have something at home that you could use, that you could attach those onto. And then, like I said, you could paint them in a colour, maybe black. They could almost be spider legs. Let's see what happens if we turn it into spider legs or a spider. So we could use, I'm looking at the egg box from this way round now as my starting point. So let's see what happens when we cut out another piece like so. Almost looks quite spidery. So I have a piece of black card here that I might chop up into spider legs. How am I going to do spider legs? So my favourite way of doing things, if you want them to kind of look the same, is fold a piece of card in half, or a piece of paper. Just going to cut that down so I don't have to deal with too much at the same time. And then I'm going to maybe, I want the legs maybe to go around to stick onto the outside. So I'm going to cut out really spiky legs. Maybe they should have a knee. Like that. And then maybe you might have a piece of newspaper or something at home that you've actually, that would have been something really useful to have in my recycling investigation bit of the bin part, would have been a newspaper, which I think I have quite close by, because you can actually make some quite cool little critters and creatures out of that. Okay, so I've given myself, I've got 4 legs there, really roughly cut very, very quickly. And then I might stick them on to, it's the weirdest looking spider I've ever seen. But you get the idea. You could be a bit more careful and a bit slower as well. But you could almost bend the legs out to make them a bit more spidery. So we've made a little creature. I'm going to stick my glue gun on. Oh, and see what happens when kind of liking this now. This is kind of one of those things that when you start making, I go through this every time. I'm like, oh, I don't really like that very much. And then if I persist and keep going with it, I find that at the end, generally speaking, I actually quite like what I've made. So there's our little spider. He's got quite good movement in the legs, very spidery movements. This could almost be like a little puppet or a little character, or you could have loads of them. And similar to what I did with the headpiece there, you could string them all through. So while I'm waiting for the glue gun to heat up, I might glue that on. I might give it some beady eyes, because you know beady eyes are a must for a spider, big beady eyes. And then maybe I could start making another one, make a couple of them to hang on some string. Okay, so let's where's my humble box that I was using? Right in front of me. Okay. Okay, let's try another way of cutting out our spider. So we're just using the egg box as the base. Also, what you could do is you could paint the egg box black if you did want to go down the road of making critters and spiders. Maybe, actually, instead of making another spider, this is what happens, you see, when you get carried away with all the different ideas of things you can do. But you could stick 2 of these together in a... might be a case of getting somebody to give you a hand here. So you could hang the spiders like in your windows at home, maybe thread them on a little piece of thread, and then they might move quite nicely, and then everybody will be able to see your spider creations. So for this one, I was thinking I might cut 2 out, put them back to back, like that, or front to front, like that, and then we've got the body of a different type of insect, something with a bit more of a rounded body. Something like that. With that, so we've got 2 bugs almost ready to go there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give it some big black wings. Oh, inspired. So maybe as we have a spider, this could be maybe a bat or a flying creature. So the same thing again, I folded the card in half because I want my wings to be the same. I think maybe the black card is influencing what I'm making here. And take the wing up. And then we've got a pair of wings there, same on each side. Then they could stick onto our body, like so. That would work, wouldn't it? Paint your body black. Staple. And while I'm doing this, I can see that there is kind of almost like the legs are like eyelashes, and it's like an eyeball. Let me staple this and I will show you what I'm talking about. 1 second now. So yeah, a staple gun, or a stapler even, just a normal stationary stapler. So look, we've got like an eyeball there, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of loving that. Maybe I might leave this like this as our spider. We could maybe bring the legs down. But what I think I might do, actually, that's inspired me now to make like a kind of mask style thing. So what have we made so far? We've made spiders, we've made a bat, we've made a headpiece. So now I might try and make a mask. And let's see, okay, let me, who knows what's going to happen once I cut these out. Mask, okay. I kind of like that shape there of the eyeball. And I've almost used all of one egg box that's got 9 slots to house the eggs in. So this is great, like even using the scraps. I'm a big fan of doing that. So we're basically giving an egg box a new purpose in life. You're going to be a decoration, you're going to be insects, you're going to be a creature, and now you're going to be a mask for your face. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so we have 2 eyeballs. The only thing is, you're not going to be able to see out of them. What do we think? Okay, so I'm going to make a little hole inside this. There's actually a perfect little eyeball hole there at the bottom. Now, once again, be careful if you're using scissors to poke holes, maybe just mind yourself when you're doing it. I have these amazing little fabric scissors, which are actually quite sharp on one end. They're sewing scissors. They're actually really handy, and they've cut that hole. Okay, so we have 2 eyeballs, which we can see. Oh, tunnel vision. I'm not sure how long you would be able to wear them for, but it's quite an interesting perspective. It's almost making a little frame on the world and making you really focus on like a tiny bit. Okay, so we've got those. Now what I want is I have these leftover bits from my spider legs. So now I'm going to just pop them on staple those onto the top there. This is very, very quick, so you could take a lot longer. And you might want to think when you're creating, you might want to think of maybe your superhero, and you might want to make a superhero mask. And you could do that with egg boxes. Oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like the shape of that, going back, like it's like being blown in the wind. Or actually, this is beginning to look a little bit like, it's amazing just adding a few bits together how it can change. This almost looks like this could be a one-eyed alien type of creature. So you could do some like little legs on the bottom, turn it into a character, or like I said, a superhero mask. So that's pretty cool. And let me try the other one. So I would recommend for your making stapler, scissors, a decent glue gun, a decent glue stick, and some little scissors if you have them, very handy, and maybe even some masking tape as well. The nice thing about masking tape is what you can do is you can paint it afterwards, so that's quite nice rather than sellotape, because sellotape is shiny, so the paint doesn't really stick as well. I'm just bending this the same kind of way. I'm having great fun here making and creating, so I wonder, how does that look? Sure, if you can't be silly and have a play, what can you do? So you could somehow, maybe, I'm just thinking that this is almost like a tiny little nose, like that. You could use that as your base to then add your other pieces onto, like this. I'm always making things like this and just making sure that you can actually see and where they might be positioned on your face as well. And shall we make one more thing very, very quickly? Okay, let's think now. I like the idea of using these to not only put on your head, but also to maybe create a sort of garland or a hanging object that you could maybe put around a mirror or a doorway if you were to make loads and you collected loads and loads of egg boxes. Or even you could use other materials that you might find. And you could paint them all black or orange if you were feeling you wanted to have it themed for a certain festival season that's coming up in the near future. So you could paint them orange and black. That might be kind of nice, and so spiders to hang from the bottom of them. So you're creating your very own like garland decoration. You could also make giant spiders out of any pot plants if you've got any of those lying around. So those are a few ideas there for you. We'd love to see your creations, your making and creations. So I would like to thank you for joining us for Reuse Month with myself, Jo. And if you would like to share any of your makings or creations with us, please do on all of our social media platforms. And don't forget to reuse. So now you're going to see me at super speed finish off what I started. So thank you for joining me for Reuse Month and Recreate. It's been a pleasure having you here with us. If you wanted more information on Reuse Month, pop over to mywaste.ie. Take care and enjoy making and creating and reusing. Bye bye.